Hello to you all. I welcome you to the third meeting of the Standing Orders Committee of the Second Parliament of Youth Impact Movement. Let's take the prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Youth Impact Parliament. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the executive director of the movement, endow members of parliament with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of this parliament the wishes of members may be well and truly served, and that good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. Amen. Honourable members, I welcome you to the third meeting of the Standing Orders Committee. The first meeting to review the standing orders adopted was held on 1st November, and then we around order 52 we ended there. And then from the second meeting, which was on the 2nd November, we continued from order 53 to order 122, and today we are continuing from order 123 to the last one, and then we'll come and just brush through the content of parliament and debate no rules. So just as the majority leader took us through, this equally part of the committee. I'm doing Amegashie-Viglo, the speaker, who is equally the chairman. So the majority leader took us through the committee from the second meeting, and he'll continue with us till we brush through and finish today's meeting. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, honorable members, and then we'll continue from where we ended from yesterday, which is order 122, which is the Committee on Welfare. Now today we'll continue with order 123, which is Committee of Alumni Relations. And if we paid attention carefully to what we did yesterday, we realized that majority of the committees had 9 members, but this particular committee has only 5 members. So let's look at paragraph 1. It says there shall be a 5-member committee on alumni relation composed of youth MPs, which one shall be chairperson to the committee. The committee shall examine and inform Parliament about the status of alumni associations and the response from past students of a tertiary institution. So it's very important. As Youth Impact Parliament, you know already we need a lot of finances, we need a lot of collaborations and the likes. So as Youth Impact Parliament is staged in Ho Technical University, who knows? The committee's responsibility is to scout out probably prominent alumni of Ho Technical University, maybe in the future where the parliament grows to a stage where we will be celebrating our 10 years old. Maybe we, the members of the first and the second parliament, the committee's responsibility will look out for us and report to parliament. Paragraph 3, the committee shall update parliament on regular basis on the trend of growth and decline of alumni association and past students of tertiaries and the causes and solution. So again, the committee shall report to Parliament. So right now, our basic and then our focus is going to be in Ho Technical University because.
No, I think Youth Impact Parliament is not only for Ho Technical. So all institutions that are part of us, the States Committee will focus on them, not only Ho Technical University.
Sure. But for now, because the larger number of 8 members are from Ho Technical University, that's why the argument side. Let's look at paragraph 4. It says the committee shall present to Parliament for debate on findings and recommendations. So it is referring to paragraph 2 and paragraph 3.
Then I think we have to state it clearly that the committee, with reference to paragraph 2 and 3, shall present statements to Parliament. I think we have to do that clarification.
Okay. All right.
I think the committee shall, in reference to paragraph 2 and 3, present, in reference to paragraph 2 and 3. But we have a long way to go, so we have 19 select committees. Hopefully we can finish all today.
So we proceed to paragraph 5, and as usual, you know what paragraph, the last paragraph of every committee, you know what it states there. So we move to order 124, which is Committee on Chieftaincy and Culture. So Committee on Chieftaincy and Culture. So it looked like at the end of the Welfare Committee, we ended the normal standing committees, right?
Yes.
So starting from order 123, which is Committee on Alumni Relations, it starts the Committee of Selection.
Yes.
So it is very important that the standing committee has 9 members and the select committees have 5 members each. So let's look at the chieftaincy committee, and I like here too very much. There shall be a 5-member committee on chieftaincy and culture composed of youth MPs, of which one shall be the chairperson to the committee. The committee shall ensure the elimination of all inhuman cultural practices among the people in society and promote good social norms and values. So with this, it's going to start from our parliament, yes, teaching us the cultural norms, old traditions that probably we are doing away with. Once we are able to teach ourselves how these are done, I'm sure we can be able to take it into our societies and teach them as well. Because as we can all attest to the fact, our culture is it has rapidly faded away, and we have invited foreign cultures into our homes. Let's look at paragraph 3. The committee shall engage traditional leaders in dialogue on the need for the elimination of barbaric cultural practices and the needless chieftaincy conflicts. With these two, is very important. So this particular responsibility of the committee, they shall need very strong team to lead them, because not all traditional leaders are going to listen to you in respect to what you are coming to tell them. That is why it's very important that we all put together our energies and growth and build youth impact parliament to the state whereby we gain that particular recognition. In such that when we say, oh, today we are visiting Tongu Afeti, as far as discussions of cultural and chieftaincy related issues are concerned, he will give us the hearing ear. If we don't play our cards well, we ourselves are not putting in the effort to make youth impact parliament what it's supposed to be. I'm not sure they can be able to give us that particular listening ear that we need. Paragraph 4. The committee shall institute winning strategies for the prevention, mediation, and resolution of of chieftaincy dispute in society. So this is the committee's what's the name? Another responsibility, and it looked like the Committee of Chieftaincy and Culture has one of the most difficult tasks among all the committees, because this one is looking really, really very external as far as their duties are concerned. And again, I'll say it again, until we put our things right as youth impact parliament, we can't, what's the name? Though we can present reports to parliament and debate and the likes, but we can't set our foot on the grounds to implement, what's the name? Paragraph 3 and 4, until we are able to do our things right. The committee shall organize, act, and cultural affairs to install positive cultural values among the youth. So again, it is going to start from inside Parliament before we can take it outside. Paragraph C says, the committee shall present report occasionally to the House on issues concerning cultural and chieftaincy and its state in the region. So when we say in the region, it means in Volta region. Probably we will extend our hands to T, to Ashanti, to Eastern, probably where we have the seats. But currently, because we are operating in the Volta region, it's very important that we focus our energy in the Volta region for now. In the future, amendments can be made in order to 16 regions. So paragraph 7 says, shall perform any other duty that is assigned to them by Mr. Speaker or the House. Order 125 says, Committee on Democracy and Good Governance. So it has 5 members as its composition. The committee, paragraph 2, let's look at paragraph 2. The paragraph 2 has a lot of sub-paragraphs.
If we could go up a little bit. Committee on Democracy and
Good Governance.
So we have to add good governance. Good, yeah. Good, yes, okay.
So the committee shall measure the democratic and good governance credential based on the following standards. So,
Is it based or based?
based
Oh, okay.
based on the following standards.
Okay.
A. Government attitude towards individuals and group right and freedom. So, as far as the responsibility of the committee is concerned, in measuring good governance and democratic credentials, the committee's focus is going to look at subparagraph A to G, such that in their discharge of their duties, this is what is going to be their guideline as far as paragraph 2 is concerned. B. Government level of tolerance for criticisms from the press and pressure groups. How government handle criticisms. Paragraph 3 says government's attitude towards public expenditure and efficiency of expenditure made by government. Or
The efficacy.
The word is efficacy. Incumbent government's ability to organize free and fair elections.
I have a problem with this clause because we have an entire select committee on election monitoring. So won't this be duplication if this committee is being given the opportunity? I think this function should be sent to committee on election monitoring.
Over here, the committee's responsibility is only to measure
Okay.
like the credentials. So theirs is to report to Parliament how good governance and democracy. So when we look at the committee shall measure the democratic and good governance credentials based on the following.
Okay.
Like they are not taking the election monitoring work for them. Incumbent government's ability to organize free and fair election. So once government is able to organize free and fair election, then it means it basically forms part of credentials for good governance and democracy in the country. Processes that underpins key policies and decision making and level of the involvement of the grassroots. So it's another condition that the committee should look like at in measuring good governance and democracy. Commitment to minimizing poverty and conflict. It's also another measure that ought to be looked like. Level of adherence to statutory provisions of the Constitution of Ghana, and more. We can add more in the future when we go. So the committee shall present statement or report to the House for deliberation on the act of government that amount of progression on or digression from the core values of democracy and good governance. So based on paragraph 2, all what has been outlined from subparagraph A to G, the committee shall present a report whether or not government is in line with what maybe paragraph A, government attitude towards individuals and group rights and freedom. So if government has a right attitude towards people for their freedom and right, then we are talking about progression. If their rights are being taken from them, then we are talking about digressions, right? So basically, that's the committee's work. So the committee's work is to look out for this key, should we put it like key performance indicators, this KPI. So from A to G, we'll set out like KPIs in measuring good governance and democracy. So the committee, after they look out for this, whether or not government is performing as far as the freedom of the people, whether they are responding to criticism very well or in a negative manner and the likes, then paragraph 4 shall perform any other duty that is referred to them by Mr. Speaker or the House. Then we look at order 126, which is Committee on Election Monitoring. So 5 members as usual. Paragraph 2 says the committee shall observe and evaluate the freeness and fairness of national election, constituency, and regional election for party executive assembly members election and other student elections and any other election that is deemed worthwhile by the committee to monitor. So this particular, it's about time, probably the regional NDC elections is coming. Probably we can write to the regional NDC secretariat that we want to be part of the election monitoring team, so that we can be able to monitor how the elections are done. We can start with our SRC's legislature. So, member institutions that are part of Youth Department, Prof, Wo Technical University, UHAS, EPUC, NTC, and the likes. When the election is approaching, we can write to them as to be part of the election monitoring team. We are not going to play any key role, but just as Kodeo and staff does the election monitoring, we just observe and give out our comments at the end of the day to them. So it's very important. The committee shall accordingly present a report on its finding on each occasion in B. So it should be in 2, in paragraph 2.
Yes.
Yeah. In paragraph 2 above, to the House.
I think you should even write the paragraph in paragraph 2 above.
Paragraph 2 above.
Yeah.
Paragraph 2 above. To the House for deliberation and resolution would be issues to the relevant stakeholders. So after you go and monitor the elections, you bring it to the House, we debate, we put up resolutions and write to either the SRC, the regional elections or election commission or kind of anybody. I'm sure later by later, when we do some of these things, we'll begin to gain public attention as far as our works are concerned. So, Committee on Election Monitoring, NDC regional elections is coming on the 12th. So, I think it's about time we take up this particular mantle and see. Maybe when don't worry about food, probably we can look for some 2 KK and then we send it out to you and then we'll buy you 1 bag of water. Then I'm sure you'll be fine. Yeah. The committee shall perform any other duty that is assigned to them by Mr. Speaker of the House. That's paragraph 4. Committee on Environmental Protection. So 5 members as usual. The committee shall collate and organize data in statements for debate in the House on issues bordering on common threats to environmental safety and protection, such as poor sanitation, bush burning, pollution, deforestation, and bad farming practice. So this one too, again, it is going to give the committee. So it looks like the select committees are having more work than how we work with the standing committees. Because the standing committees' work is mostly within Parliament, but the select committees' work ought to do with outside Parliament. So this one, we can collaborate with the NPA, the National Environmental Protection Agency, and its other agencies for this particular, because you can't have this organized data all by yourself. And in Youth Impact Parliament, again, it's only having that financial strength to go into those stuff. So it's very important. Maybe in a small way, we can do it our own. Paragraph 6, the committee shall lead Parliament to advocate on the causes and effect of climate changes on the life of the people. So, select committee on environmental protection. It seems the global climate changes is on the rampant. So we can catch some small attention when we start some advocacy, kind of some flyers, putting out some few guidelines to be followed by people to reduce these climate changes that we are having. The committee shall identify possible present and future environmental hazards which poses threat to the people. So again, the select committees are having more work, because if you are going to go outside and identify future and present environmental hazards that will pose threat to the people, it means it's going to be more of groundwork. And because Youth Impact Parliament is not having that particular financial muscle, we again collaborate with the Environmental Protection Agency, so that probably when they are going on some of these, their outrages, community safety surveillance and the like, we'll be part of them. We just collaborate with them so that we can have that data from them for our purposes. So paragraph 5 says, shall perform any other duty that is assigned to them by Mr. Speaker or the House. Committee on Foreign Affairs, 5 members as usual. The committee shall collate and organize data in statement for debate in the House on issues bordering foreign travels, foreign exchange, war data, global issues. So currently we have what's the name? Russia-Ukraine war. I'm sure it's still ongoing. The way the foreign exchange dollar is affecting CD depreciation, the Committee on Foreign Affairs shall organize data to help us understand exactly what the issues are. It looks like I've heard that the American embassy has laid embargo on visa appointment since till 2025 or so. I don't know how true is that one. Yeah, to 2025 kind that. I don't know for other embassies, and I don't know how true that particular issue is with the American embassy, but I read it somewhere on Facebook the other time. So it is our responsibility to look at it. We will not be able to make any much advocate because these are issues that have to do with international related issues, and the Parliament and the committee will not be in any official position to issue any statement or kind of something like that. But ours is to just help us understand the realities on the ground and inform people around us that probably this is what is happening. And paragraph 3, the committee shall identify foreign issues that may bring harm and instability to Ghana and its citizens and report to the House for debate. So, city depreciation, probably because of, what's the name? And I'm again hearing that the world is going to a global recession. Yeah, so when a global recession happens, then I'm sure probably we will all be dead, not dead physically, but dead monetary-wise. Because once the world is going through a global recession, then with all our already economic issues that we are having, and I'm sure. So
a global recession. I think this particular matter, the entire world will have to take, either subsidize or they cut down the economic hardship by reducing the price of oil.
Yeah.
When assuming all the price is being cut down half, I'm sure this recession can be changed and it will start appreciating to a peak. I think this is a very big global emergency, and I think AU and then all those should come out and say something. They held a United Nations General Assembly some time ago, I think at the start of around August that time. I don't really know how exactly they discussed pertaining to this.
So it's about time to that we look at our foreign reserves. It's very important. As COVID came in and had destabilized the entire economy of the world, but we could say that the economies with the very strong foundations were the ones that were able to stand the effect that COVID brought. Unlike we, the ones with the weaker economies, it struck us down. So we need to go for aid and the like. So now, if the whole world is going to be recession, then it's about time. So, not per se me making any public statement or kind of something like that. When we get this particular data, we can be able to inform the people around us that the world is going to a global recession. So we manage our resources, prepare for future upcoming. If you are buying, if you want to make purchase or if you want to purchase any goods that may not, it's not a perishable goods, and you have the money, purchase it like in bulk. If you are, for example, you are buying tiro and you know that this, and then you have this particular data, and then we inform the people. If you're supposed to buy only 2 packs, probably you can buy 10. You're buying pure water, and then recently pure water has been, price of bag of pure water has been increased. So people who knew about the realities on the ground went ahead and bought like 20 bags at the old price and kept it for their usage. Probably they may be able to use it continually to the end of the year, probably into early next year and the like. So it's very important so that the committee looks at these particular issues to inform us so that we can inform people to make informed decisions about their livelihood. The committee shall present statement and debate on debatable issues to the House occasionally for deliberation. So it will be referring to paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. Yeah. The committee shall perform any other duties that required to them by Mr. Speaker or the House. So, Order 129, Committee on Gender and Children and Social Protection. So, this is Honorable Ahianu's people. So, 5 members as usual. The committee shall ensure that there is gender equity and all inclusiveness in arriving at a decision both within the House and external organizations, especially in public sectors. So in the House, and then you see when you look at our Parliament, for example, Speaker male, Deputy First Deputy Speaker male, and then the Second Deputy Speaker female. we have all our clerk table to be female. The gender equity and all inclusion is working in our parliament. When you look at the committee, the structure of our committees, at least all from the standing committees to the select committees, you realize that we have females on all of them from start to finish. So it's very important. Paragraph 3, the committee shall lead the House to embark on massive and periodic campaigns on domestic violence and all forms of gender and disability
discretionary tendencies.
Uh-huh.
I beg to differ. I think we don't have the capacity to handle massive and periodic. I think you should not make it embark on occasional campaigns, because we don't have the capacity for massive and periodic, if you may ask me.
Embark on occasional.
Yes. Occasional campaigns. So, at where other people are doing it or where it is relevant, then we enter and join the group.
So, paragraph 4. And then when you say what's the name, how do I put it? All forms of domestic violence and all forms of gender and disability probably look like, oh, it's only the women that are suffers the most in domestic violence. Some women are beating their husbands in the house very, very seriously. So our attention also will look on that. The committee shall identify and present report to the House for deliberation occasionally on customary and traditional practices that are dehumanizing and oppressive to the development of the entire female and male gender. It seems of late probably all those practices are no more, are gradually fading away, like the female genital mutilation and the likes. But who knows? There are some that are still there, and then the committee is to identify them. So, select committees, you have work, and then you have a lot of work. The committee shall ensure all inclusiveness and the participation and involvement of women and persons living with disability in all levels of leadership. So, we have one person with disability in the House, as a youth MP. So it's very important. The committee shall perform any other duty that is referred to them by Mr. Speaker or the House. Committee on Government Project Monitoring. Hey, this one is going to be, but we'll still handle it. 5 members as usual. The committee shall play a watchdog role on the effectiveness, transparency, and quality during the execution of government policies, programs, and projects, and report their findings to Parliament periodically and systematically. But with this, it's going to be a bit of a problem, such that we cannot have. But yes, we can still use it. We can invoke the Right to Information Bill. Yeah, it's very important. We can invoke the Right to Information Bill and get this particular data that we need. So maybe we can go to US and look at how the blocks that they are building there, how it's going. Because yes, we are also citizens, and we have US students in our parliament. So the committee can work, because all those structures are government projects and the likes. So the committee has work, but we can't do it solely on our own. Yeah, we need to collaborate with other government agencies to look at that. And if we trespass too much, somebody will ask, on what moral grounds do you have to do what you are doing? So we look at it carefully. The committee shall advise Parliament to either praise or condemn certain outcomes or such projects.
Yes, I have a question. Is the periodic timeline, would it be a problem?
Periodic, it can be every year.
Okay.
Periodic, we can set our own timelines as far as periodic is concerned.
Okay.
Because when it comes to Edison projects, we can put occasionally, because government projects are always ongoing. For example, Xoakpe to Whole Road is still under construction. A lot of government projects are ongoing all over Volta region and then the country as a whole. So when you put occasionally there, it's not something that happens occasionally, it happens periodically. So we can put it there.
Okay.
So paragraph 2 says the committee shall advise Parliament to either praise or condemn certain outcomes of such projects. So when we are able to play the watchdog and we see that, when we went to US, the rate at which those blocks are being released, it has a very faster rate, and then the quality is also there. So there, we can issue a public statement praising government for that particular project that is being out. If we realize that school feeding program is carried out poorly, we condemn government and provide solutions to what we have seen. Then the committee shall present statement on debatable issues to the House occasionally for deliberation. So let's look at Order 131, which is Committee on Human Rights. So Committee on Human Rights has 5 members as usual. The committee shall furnish Parliament with statement for debate concerning certain public or individual conduct that amount to infringement on their individual or group right and freedom enjoyed by the 1992 Republican Constitution. So over here, the committee's eyes are going to be on the media, which is the television, the radio, social media, even among us in our houses, in our classrooms, on campuses and the likes. Maybe certain activities of some people that is infringing on the right of a group of people or an individual and report to the House. The committee shall give special focus to child rights, youth rights, and women rights, and men rights. Let's add men rights. We've taken the men out. The men should also be part. Why should we add child rights, youth rights, women rights, and there's no men rights? By the way, it's we that we are going to look at it. So maybe the men cannot be there. It looks like men's rights are not infringed upon sometimes. So the youth rights. So since it's Youth Impact Parliament, our focus will be there the most, right, of the disabled in the society. The committee shall identify and lead youth parliament to campaign against certain customary practices and rituals that are dehumanizing and contravene the right of individuals or groups. So it's very important that we look at it in that particular perspective. And then shall perform any other duty that is referred to them by Mr. Speaker or the House. Committee on Judicial Affairs, 5 members. The committee shall research on judicial practices and structures of the judiciary of Ghana.
I think we should make of Ghana and other nations and international structures. What do you think?
Yeah. In Ghana, other nations.
Should you say nation or countries? I think other countries. Yes, and I think in other countries. Or in institutions.
And international.
Yeah.
International.
So I'm hearing of the European courts and then all those.
ICC and international bodies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So the committee will do a thorough research and teach the House on legal issues, practices in Ghana, because even our own legal practices in Ghana, we are not too much abreast with them. How the court tend to operate and the likes. Sometimes when we use certain words, then it looks like we are speaking in parables where we don't understand. The committee shall gather judicial precedences made by the judiciary of Ghana. So, and then I don't know whether we got to know this. The Supreme Court issued the election petition in 2013 and that of 2020 was used by the Kenyan court during Ruto and what's the name?
William Ruto's
court case that happened in Kenya recently. So it looked like Ghana had one way or the other become the basis for African countries when referring to issues of election petitions that emanate from the election. So the committee can research and gather those judicial precedents and help us understand. So in the future, where probably we are being headed by these particular issues, we can know exactly where to move to. So Committee on Judicial Affairs, you have a lot of work to do to the House.
And I think it shouldn't only be the judiciary of Ghana, other nations.
Okay.
Is that it?
No, you are present.
I'm not sure I even copied it. Because one thing that I am amazed about is in Ghana we spent over 6 to 8 months on election petitions, but in Kenya that was just within some 3 weeks and they were done with the election petition.
And because they had a reference from ours, and this is how we were able to do it. So it's very important. Probably the 2013 election petition had, isn't it, 8 months? That of 2020 didn't last more than
I think around 4 months.
4 months. We were done. So Kenya looked at it and they had 3 weeks. Maybe in 2 days, probably in Ghana in 2 days we can be done with ours. The committee shall examine the status of the judiciary, make findings and solutions, and report to the House accordingly. The committee shall present statement on debatable issues to the House occasionally for deliberation. So maybe as the election petition is going, or any other judiciary issues, maybe Agrada's issue in court currently, yeah, they can present it to Parliament for debate so that we all learn from it. So paragraph 6 says it shall perform any other duty that is assigned to them by Mr. Speaker of the House. Then we look at Order 123, Order 133, Committee on Legal and Legislative Affairs. So Committee on Judiciary is different from Committee on Legal and Legislative Affairs. So let us not get it confused. 5 MPs as usual. The committee shall research on legislative practices and structures of the legislation of Ghana,
other countries, and then
international bodies.
yes.
Yeah. So the international bodies can be UN, what's the name? AU, ECOWAS, and the likes. The committee shall gather acts and instruments passed by the national parliament of Ghana.
I think this one can be limited to Ghana.
Yeah, this
we
one
have 1,000 acts.
We don't need Kenyans. We don't need acts from other countries. Because ours, we have not finished language. Most especially, the very key ones that we have to know. The committee shall examine the status of the legislature, make findings and solutions, and report to the House. Yeah, the committee shall present debatable issues to the House occasionally for debate. So the majority MPs are calling for the head of the finance minister. So it can also be a debatable issues, and then we debate and see. And then the committee shall perform any attitude that is assigned to them by Mr. Speaker or the House. And we look at Order 134, Committee on Peace Building and Conflict Resolution. So 5 members as usual. The committee shall identify conflict-prone areas within the region and furnish the Youth Parliament with adequate information on the type and nature of such conflict. For this, because of the financial model, probably if we had more on this, we can go to Boko. Because currently Boko is the most conflict-prone zone in Ghana. Their conflict is still ongoing. But in the region, probably, and then we are lucky, Alabama and Kunya war is a thing of a past now. But in the future, where it emanates again or any part of the region, we can, what's the name? No, it high. Or towards the time.
No, I wanted to check if it's recorded.
Unless we close the lesson.
Okay, good. It's recorded. Okay.
So, and the type of conflict. So paragraph 2 says the committee shall come out with strategies or approaches that youth parliament shall adopt to bring the conflict parties to smoke the peace pipe at the pre-conflict stage before such conflict escalates into violence and conflict. Violent conflict. So this one, we can't do it on our own. After we go to the areas and identify the nature of the conflict, and we bring it to Parliament and debate and see what strategies we have to adopt. Then there we can bring in the government agencies and present our reports to them. Because this one, when we go do it on our, probably we may be beaten. Yes. We may be beaten eventually. Ours is just for advocacy and looking at for the welfare of the people.
I think we'll have to recraft this so that it will look like a collaborative effort.
Oh, we can leave it like that. Yeah. The committee shall present report occasionally to the House on issues concerning peace building and peace resolution. Generally, as we learned in social studies, conflict resolution and the likes, so that we can live peacefully. When we have that conflict resolution abilities, when there is a conflict emanating among people in our society, we can quietly handle that particular issue. So paragraph 5, as usual, we know what is there. Order 135, Committee on Religion, Christianity and Islam. I don't know why it's only Christianity and Islam. We should have traditional.
Well, religion, I think religion covers the Hindu and then all those. But apart from that, there is more emphasis on Christianity than Islam.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
so I think
Probably
it's
in Ghana. In Ghana. So 5 members, the committee shall ensure the elimination of all bad religious practices among the people in society. Again, we start from inside parliament. When we are able to teach our people and they are much abreast with good religious practices, they can carry it on to the society as youth. And so I take mine to Ningo-Prampram, somebody take his own to Kita, others take their own to Anglican and the likes to be able to teach the people. The committee shall engage Christians and Muslim leaders in dialogues on the need for the elimination of bad practices. So, paragraph 2, when we are able to identify them and we debate it among ourselves, I take mine to Ningo, meet Muslim, Christian leaders, we discuss it, how we are able to take it out. So this one we can do it on our own because this one we are Christians and we have Muslims among it. The committee shall present report occasionally to the House on issues concerning cultural and chieftaincies and its states in the region.
I think this will conflict with the committee on culture. So I think let's rather change the thing to read on religion, Christianity, and Islam. Because right now we are seeing the Hindu to be religion, but culture is different from religion because you can be a Christian, but yes, you have their Ningo traditional practices. Yes.
So on Christian religion.
Yes, I think on religion. Yes, that's it. Yes.
Religion. Yeah.
Yes.
And its states.
Yes.
In the region. So the religion will do with.
Should we say in the region or in the country?
Yeah,
I think it should expand to the country. What do you think? Yes, because the religion might be the region might limit us. Yes.
So we look at a committee on road safety and transportation, order 126, 5 members as usual. The committee shall examine and inform youth parliament about the nature of road network, highlighting certain irregularities and conduct that poses danger to travelers and other road users. So it's very important. So probably when we pick the route from Ho to Xoakpe, we identify some irregularities and conduct that will be pose danger to the road users of that particular stretch. And this is not going to be any cost inclusive. I'm going home from here to Ningo. I pay very key attention to some irregularities that is happening on the road. When you are traveling from here to Xoakpe, you also do the same. Then when we meet in Parliament, then we put together the findings that we have had and then we will debate it. The committee shall update youth Parliament on regular basis on the trend of road accident and the causes as well as level of danger caused by such accidents, rate of highway robberies. It's very important. So this one we work with the police and the Ghana Highway and then the Ghana Road Safety Commission and the Red Cross. The committee shall present statement to the House for debate and on findings and recommendations. So when we present the statement, we debate it. The findings and recommendations that we present it to the appropriate quarters for implementation. Committee on Public Relations. 5 members as usual. The committee shall examine and inform youth parliament about the status of people from second cycle institution to the basic schools. Oh, it's pupil. I said public. Oh, wow. Sorry, committee on pupil relations. So, examine. So this one here, we have a lot of basic schools in Ho. At least we can be able to do it. So, the status of from the second cycle institute, from the senior high schools to the basic schools. The committee shall update the youth parliament on a regular basis on the issues surrounding basic and second cycle institutions and their causes and solutions. So, school feeding program, this in free senior high school, the challenges that are surrounding those policies and the likes, inadequate of chairs, how children are faring, how whether teachers are not taking advantages of their pupil in the school and the likes. if we look at it from that way, so the committee shall update the parliament on all those issues and present solutions. The committee shall present statement to youth parliament for debate on findings and recommendations. So paragraph 5 says the committee shall perform any other duty that is referred to them by Mr. Speaker. Committee on Student Relations. 5 members as usual. The committee shall examine and inform youth parliament about the status of academic performance and the response from students of a tertiary institution.
Shouldn't it be tertiary institutions?
Yeah, from a tertiary institutions. Tertiary institutions. So whole technical UIs and the likes. The committee shall update youth parliament on a regular basis on the trend of growth and decline of academic performance of students of tertiary institutions and their causes and solutions. So this one, as we are all students, I'm sure probably is self-explanatory. We know what causes the decline in academic performance. So debate, they shall present to the statement on findings and recommendations. The committee shall perform any other duties that is assigned to them by the Speaker in the House. Committee on Standard and Cost of Living. 5 members. The committee shall concern itself with the standard of living of the average Ghanaian, collect data, and present a statement on it to the House for debate. So currently we are in crisis. Cost of living is rising very, very, very high. Probably we can use home markets as a case study. Why all of a sudden there's a rise in cost of living, why price of goods are rising very high and the likes. So the committee shall concern itself with the cost of living of the average Ghanaian and collect data and present a statement on it to the House for debate. So this particular committee, this time around is a work. You have work this particular season. Home market, probably can use the stores around campus as a case study so that we look at it perfectly. Committee on Technological Development. 5 members. The committee shall concern itself with technological development within a tertiary institution, Ghana, and the world at large, within tertiary institutions. So, technological development, what is Kandaga doing new? What is Tesla bringing up new? So that we can abreast ourselves with the new technological trends. Yes, China has launched satellites into space and they are currently understudying 6G. So probably very, very soon we'll be having 6G, 5G, 6G. So we can update our members on these particular issues. Update youth parliament on a regular basis on the new technological advancement within various sectors of life and their effects.
Let's copy the committee shall and put it aside.
Where?
The committee shall, let's copy this and then put it at from the update.
So the committee
shall update the youth parliament.
Okay, within a tertiary institution. Yes. Because of the within. Because of within a tertiary institution.
Okay.
Ghana and the world. So because of the within.
Okay.
Within Ghana and the world at large.
Okay.
So devices and equipment that can improve their life. So the committee's work, this is going to be a thorough research. So as Riley says, 5G is already in usage, but the spectrum is yet to be bought by Ghana. Probably we can start informing our people conspiracies. During COVID, we were told that the 5G came with COVID and can transmit the disease. A lot of conspiracy. Yeah, this committee can put up a strong defense and educate the public as a whole, because this one year we can educate the public all by ourselves.
Elon Musk buys Twitter.
Yeah.
Donald Trump unblocked. Chaos.
So, Committee on Youth Development. 5 members. The committee shall lead youth parliament on advocacy to ensure that the National Youth Authority, for that matter, government, and other stakeholders in the youth development adhere to the vision, tenets, and objectives of the National Youth Policy, African Youth Chapter, African Agenda 2063, 2030, Sustainable Development Goals, and other obligations of Parliament to promote youth development in Ghana. So this one is going to be our focus, because this is the very reason why Youth Impact Parliament was formed in the first place, for youth development. So if we are doing our part, we'll make sure that the National Youth Authority and government will adhere to all these particular youth policies that have been aligned. When you read the Africa Agenda 2063, it's a nice document. Probably I'll share it on the Youth Parliament on our page so that we have a look at it. Agenda 2063. It's a nice policy. Then the committee shall present statement to the House for debate on perceived deviation or violation on part of executors of the goals and objectives in one above. Should it be two? Or it should be in paragraph 2 above. Number 1. Paragraph 2. Paragraph 2. Paragraph 2.
So goals and objectives of paragraph 2 above.
Above, yeah.
I can see of paragraph.
Where?
Of paragraph 2 above.
Yeah, paragraph 2 above. So when there's a perceived deviation, you are diverting from that particular goal, the committee shall present statement to the House for debate. The committee shall lead Parliament on scrutinization and on sensitizing the youth and the public on the core values of the national youth policy. It's very important. A lot of us don't know what the national youth policy is even about. We don't even know the youth anthem. What is the youth anthem? Is it that you even don't know what the youth anthem is? The youth anthem is Arise Ghana Youth for your country. The committee shall ensure that youth parliament is well organized to safeguard youth parliament by politicians and other predators. So maybe they would like to use us. And looking at all the other select committees, like on foreign affairs, on this cost of living and life, maybe a particular politician would like to, issue statement. I'll give you this particular amount. Issue a statement that, the cost of living in Ho is very good. So this particular committee is to ensure that the parliament is well organized to safeguard the MPs from politicians and other predators. So we look at miscellaneous, which is part 17, miscellaneous, changes in membership of committees. We'll take it from here.
You just finish up.
How many elections? Appendix or one number.
So after I will just go through the.
8-6.
Okay, just some 10 minutes and let's clear this ones. Now we'll just go through the list now of content of Parliament.
So changes in membership of committees. So membership can be changed. In the case where the change is necessary within a section of Parliament, the chairperson of the Committee on Selection shall notify the chairperson of the committee for members to be changed, stating the reason for the change and the name of the nominee to replace the outgoing member, and the Committee on Selection chairman shall notify the House of the change. So it simply means in a particular session of Parliament or in a particular parliamentary year, if I don't want to be member of a particular committee, I shall inform the chairperson of the Committee on Selection. So the Committee of Selection shall one, find my replacement and inform the House of my replacement. So, for example, Honorable Kwakye Ablekuma was a member of the appointment committee of this Parliament. He wrote to Speaker, rescuing himself from that particular committee, and then he was replaced. So something like that. Any committee may, if it deemed fit, appoint a subcommittee and assign to it such of its powers, and the committee shall consider fit. So any committee, standing committee, we can form subcommittees and the rest.
Yes.
And relay some of our powers to them, some of our duties for them to, presuming committee on, Committee on Youth Development. If we realize that there's a particular engagement that we are doing and then the workload is becoming too much, we can just inform the chairperson for the Committee on Selection to help us form a subcommittee and assign to that particular committee some of our duties to aid at the end of the day to have the work done in the short possible time.
Shouldn't you make it an ad hoc subcommittee?
Okay, it can be an ad hoc.
Yes. Because those committees should only stand for a while after they have done their job.
These are ad hoc. No, it's correct. Because of the
Appoint an ad hoc. Okay, so appoint, it should be sub ad hoc. Let's clean the entire. So appoint ad hoc subcommittee.
Yeah.
Okay, should you make it T's or you should just leave it like that?
Well, it can be committee.
Okay.
Standing order applies to committees. So the standing order shall be observed at the committee level, like how we are doing currently. The chairperson of the committee shall maintain order in committee, deciding all questions of order, but disorder in a committee can only be censured by the House on receiving a report on it. So probably if there's a misbehavior as a particular committee, it can only be deliberated on by the whole House. But the committee chairperson shall ensure and maintain order using the standing orders at each committee meeting.
Yes, and also to note is the chairperson prays the speaker's prayer for their committee meetings as well. That is how it's done. That is why they are saying the standing orders applies at committee level.
So we look at council to committees. A committee shall have the power to seek the advice of a council, to attend upon it, to giving such assistance in the discharge of its duties as the chairperson may direct. So council can be anybody. And I'm sure when we say council, we understand as in legal related issues. So that more probably we are seeking issues on international related issues. We can't just presume by ourselves because we have these international standards that must be followed. So we can seek counsel for us to be able to make issues very informed and very detailed as far as it being authentic. A person alleged to be in contempt of parliament may be represented by a counsel in proceeding in the committee of privilege.
Let's make this privileges committee.
Why?
It's privileges committee, not committee of privileges. Yeah.
In the privileges committee. So please, I'm available. So those MPs who have been absent for a while and has been referred to the privileges committee, if you need a counsel, I'm available in order for us to make headway, but it comes at a cost. It will come at a cost. Honorarium. Officers of Parliament may be enumerated per the available funds as appreciation for their education. When there's funds, we do it. There's no manual, probably be given citation and likes. There shall be a book of honor that shall record names of successive speakers, clerks, majority and minority leaders of the House. Yeah. The Youth Parliament shall honor anyone who have made meaningful contribution to this Parliament. Very important. Certificate. The Youth Parliament shall award certificate to officers and members of Parliament at the end of the year of each Parliament. So
I think we should just at the end of the tenure of each Parliament. At the end of the tenure of each Parliament instead of year. Okay.
So we look at citations shall be awarded to deserving officers and members who contributed meaningfully to the success of the Parliament during a parliamentary year. So
I think we have to make a citation May because it's our money. Now the prices are escalating. Or it can also be sent as a soft copy, but let's put the May there.
End of service. Officers and members, order 147. End of service. Officers and members who will be available to continue serving due to the unavailable due to unable to continue serving due to change of work or environment and wish to still associate themselves with the House, but not stand as officers and members shall inform the Speaker in writing of their situation and intention to their end of service. To end their service. So, probably I'm going to Ningo, but I don't want to be a member of Parliament or any officer, but I still want to be a member of the whole movement. I'll write to Speaker. And then upon receipt of the letter, the Speaker shall accordingly inform the House, and the Committee of Selection shall replace the people. So, as we write, like a way, what's the name? Replacement of committee members that we saw earlier. End of service. It should be end of service.
Yes.
Yeah. End of service shall not be termed as removal or resignation. Yes, because I just feel that I'm going, so it cannot be termed. So whatever is due you as a member will be given to you. Applicants for end of service shall be awarded their certificate regardless of the end of the parliamentary and given any other honor if so deemed fit. So as I rightly said earlier. So look at appendix, which is the Speaker's prayer, blah blah blah, oaths, was an oath of witness before a committee, sitting structure of Parliament, appendix C, founders report, appendix D, first standing order committee report, appendix E, then appendix E. So this one should be appendix F.
Okay.
Yeah, appendix F. Appendix F. So appendix F is ratification details. So
I think, can we just have a brush look at contempt of Parliament?
where?
Yes, contempt of, I think it's around the top, contempt of Parliament, because yes, we initially left that one for the last meeting, because it come down. Okay, that's it. Yes, contempt to down.
So order 41, contempt of Parliament. General contempt of youth Parliament, an act or omission which obstructs or impends youth Parliament in the performance of its functions or which obstructs. A member or officer of the youth Parliament in discharge of his or her duty affront the dignity of the youth Parliament and tends either directly or indirectly to produce such a result shall be contempt of Parliament. So these are.
I think we need to not reconstruct the thing, but the paragraphing is not sounding how it should sound. So I think,
What's the name? So general contempt of Parliament, an act or omission which obstructs or impede the youth Parliament in the performance of its functions or which obstructs, an act or omission which obstructs or impede a member or officer of, you understand? So you must take it from here B, you must take it from here C.
okay.
Are you getting it?
Okay.
So
Okay.
when we are defining contempt of Parliament, it comes in 4 ways,
Okay.
in 4 folds. An act of omission which obstruct or impede A, B. I get it.
Okay.
Order 42, act which constitute breach of privilege or contempt of Parliament. So the following order, subparagraph A of paragraph 1. Disorder on the part of a stranger, such as what's the name? What word is that?
Ridiculous.
Is it
Yes, ridiculous. Starts ridiculous.
righteous?
Okay, righteous.
Yeah, like disorder conduct on the part of a stranger, such as righteous or disorderly action by a stranger to hinder or promote the proceeding or motion or any other matter pending before the House. So if we could recall, during that drop that chamber issue, there was one guy who sat in the public gallery and then shouted, "Drop that chamber." So that is the perfect example that it can be given to that. Subparagraph B, misbehavior on the part of a witness appearing before youth Parliament or any other committee So it will feel like probably because it's a youth parliament or something, when you come, instead of you to follow the standing orders that we are using, then you come and be doing your own thing. Flagrant or persistent disobedience of the general rules or orders of the House, including its committees designed to prevent, delay, obstruct, or interfere with the execution of the orders of the House or the committee. So you do it consistently, like you do it, we correct you. You do it, you correct you. You do it correctly, we correct you. When you continue doing it, it serves as what's the name? How do I put it? An act which constitutes breach of what's the name? Or contempt of parliament. Presenting to youth parliament frivolous, false, scandalous, groundless, or fabricated document or such allegation in a petition. So you should know that when you present false statement in the House, it amounts to contempt of parliament. Any act or conduct calculated or intended to deceive the youth parliament in any way or any of its committees is a contempt of parliament. So we must know that. It looked like we saw this when we were doing the orientation. Yeah, the orientation. Such that. So, how many finish up? So when you go through, you see at the orientation stage, probably we'll print it with some of our standing with our other papers behind it, so that we look at it. So that probably this should be our commandments. Yeah, so that we look at it, so that we don't flout it. So
we go to the first page. So, honourable members, this brings us to the end of the public hearing on the standing orders of this committee. This committee has dedicated 3 days to the review of these standing orders and shall present the reviewed standing orders and its report to the House at its 4th sitting of the first session of the second parliament, scheduled for 20th November 2022. So, honourable members, on this note, the committee hereby adjourns sine die. Thank you.